All right, you glad to be here? Yeah, me too. I like the sentiment expressed in that song. That says a lot, doesn't it? Coles Goggin does a pretty good job. I'm working with him. Does good. Can you hear me? I need you to hear me. Can you hear me? Yes or no? All right. I want you to hear. Wouldn't do you any good to sit out here this hot if you couldn't hear, would it? I didn't hear you. Don't go to sleep. Well, today is Patriots' Day in America, and it is a day of remembrance. And most of us have absolutely no difficulty at all recalling where we were and what we were doing when we first heard the news and we saw the pictures and we heard the story of those planes and the devastation they caused in New York City. It's one of those moments that just freezes in your mind and you just never forget it. And I remember very well where I was. You would think that we wouldn't have any difficulty remembering. You would think that it would just be a natural thing that we would never forget. But as strange as we are as humans, we have to be reminded to remember. Even Jesus taught us about this. When Jesus taught about the most momentous event in human history, which was the death and the burial and the resurrection, teaching about the Lord's Supper, Jesus said, as often as you do this, you do it in remembrance of me. Again, it would seem that especially those of us who are Christians would never forget. But we have to be reminded to remember. It seems that we have to be intentional. We have to be purposeful. We have to decide to remember. Now I say to you that I want to intentionally remember. I want to determine today to never forget. I want to remember what happened. I don't want to forget. I don't want my children to forget. And I want my grandchildren to know one day what happened in September 11th, 2001 and why it's a big deal. I want to remember. There's some things I think we all ought to remember. First of all, I have determined that I will remember the vision, what I saw. I will remember. I tried to watch some of it today, and quite honestly, some of it was too difficult for me to watch. They were replaying all the scenes. They were replaying the planes flying into the building. They were replaying the first responders heading into those flames. They were replaying the crowds running down the streets and screaming. And I just have to tell you, there were several times today that I had to walk away from it. And I couldn't watch it anymore. But I do want to remember that. I want to remember the vision of what we saw on that day and be reminded that because we are a free people, because we are a God-fearing people, there are people who just hate us. We didn't do anything to deserve that. I don't care who says different. We didn't do anything to deserve that. But I do believe they picked on the wrong crowd. I believe that we should always remember those things. May I say this? I know I'm not politically correct. You'll know it in just a moment. My father fought World War II. My father-in-law was a Marine Raider in World War II. So we got it deep. I would not want to go to Pearl Harbor and see a statue of Hirohito. I don't want to go to Alamo and see a statue of Santa Anna. And I don't want to go to Ground Zero and see a mosque. Dear Mr. Imam, please move that sucker somewhere else. All right. I will remember the vision. I will remember my voice. The Tea Party movement in America began a little over a year ago, and it gave some of us a voice. We had almost gotten to the point where we were so disgusted with our government, we just didn't believe that we had a voice anymore. We believed that representative government was what was supposed to be happening, but it didn't seem like it was happening. We believed that we had elected folks to represent us, but for some reason they stopped listening. We said, we don't want bailouts. They said, you need it anyhow. We said, we don't want your health care. They said, but you need it so bad. I'm tired of that. I'm going to remember that because of the Tea Party movement, suddenly a new voice was awakened in America. A reminder that we the people are still here and we still have a voice. Thank God that we live in America where it's still okay if we speak our mind. I just want to make sure that the Hollywood bubbleheads are not the only voices being heard in America today. I want us to remember our voice. We must speak up. We must speak seriously to the issues. We must speak intelligently about difficult decisions that have to be made. I respect the difficulty of hard decisions. I respect the difficulty of the hard work of politics. But I want us to understand that we have true American values that must be defended. American values and Islamic values are not close to being the same. I don't care how many times you say it, I'm just not going to believe that Islam is just a peaceful religion. Okay, I lost you. Let me say something to you. I'm a preacher. Most of you know that. Part of my role as a preacher is to work with missionaries and travel around the world. I've been to several countries around the world where preaching of the gospel is a challenge, to say the least. But there are countries where we can't even go because they're controlled by Islam. You can't speak the name of Jesus Christ. You can't carry a Bible. You can show no image of the cross. I'm telling you, they cut your head off for being a Christian in some of those places. Don't talk to me about your peaceful religion. All right? I think we need to remember. You know who my favorite politician is? Will Rogers. Will Rogers says, if you're on the right track, you can still get run over if you're not moving, going anywhere. You understand that? Even if you're on the right track. A lot of us, we're on the right track. We know we're on the right track, right? If you don't believe it, just ask us. We're right. But the problem is we've not been doing anything with it. We've been sitting still. I will remember the vision. I will remember my voice. And here's the other thing. I will remember to vote. Yeah. And I have decided that I will not just vote pocketbook. I will not just vote prosperity. I will not just simply vote about what funds could be sent to our beloved city. I am concerned about values. I am concerned about moral issues. I am concerned about things that affect our lives for now and eternity. I'm concerned about things that make America great. And I want to vote for character again. I want to vote for integrity again. I want to vote for people who will vote for us again. God bless you. God bless America.